Mr. Murray, sir.
Good night. Good night,
Good night.
everybody.
How are you, my friend?
Good
I'm
night,
good.
Mr. Murray.
Good.
Let me just, good night, sir. How are you doing? And
I'm
let me
good.
just, yeah,
It,
say to
it's
Miss
good.
McLean, yeah, Miss McLean, that really thought provoking, because we're seeing the common entrance. That's a whole era that deconstructing, as they put it. I got a call from someone. She's in her 70s, and she's asked me to come to interview her because she wants to tell her story about the common entrance and what it did for her. And when because she could not have gone to the school she went to if it wasn't, for the common entrance. And I mean, she's so passionate. I promised her, I said, yes, ma'am, I'll come and interview you about that. It's so important, and it's interesting. But I wanted to say that before we move into the next segment. Thank you, Mr. Murray, for joining us. Good night. You're looking wonderful.
Thank you very much. Almost as wonderful as Maxine, I hope.
I can lay you my dress, you know.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Don't get carried away. It's just but I was hoping to hear your sick voice because when it's like that, it sounds huskier and sexier. So I was hoping you'd have brought it back to
Okay.
itself. So I think I should move on, probably.
Yes, you move on. Listen, I know that person that put that give you that shirt to wear. She's in another room, so don't come on here.
Good night.
Miss McLean is laughing so hard. I don't know why. That I think you need to go drink some Buckley's and come back.
I will.
No, it's a pleasure to be here. And before I get into my topic proper, which is brutal funeral home killing, shooting, confirms new nature of crime in Barbados. But before I do that, I think that last time I did not have enough time to do it, but I want to pay compliments to Professor Velma Newton for her act of resigning and publicizing it. I thought it was a very patriotic act because if she had not done so, we'd have been harboring the belief and go around with the illusion that all is going well in this mammoth 24-member council, not even a committee, a council, very highfalutin council, which never really reported, you never go into reports. And therefore, it brought us the reality to do it. And I think she should be complimented for that because it opened our eyes to the waste of time that was being undertaken for an ill-conceived, poorly constructed, unresourced activity. I want to thank her very much. I thought it was a very, like I say, patriotic duty. And I do so because she admitted that she wanted to do it because Home John beat first, but then she gave it when she was not satisfied with the functioning, etc., and the lack of resources, etc., for the council. But I think what she has done has made us take a fresh guard on this whole matter. Now, Miss, I mean, let me say that the reason why I think she resigned the way she did, and she resigned, she was supposed to have attended a meeting on the Wednesday, but the meeting was told by someone who was there at the meeting that she couldn't come because she was busy performing grandmotherly duty. All right. But to me, I didn't buy that because, and then there out came the letters. I think there was I think somebody was fudging and trying to pass it off as I think when it was not. I don't think that was the accurate account when you compare or put it against what happened and the content of the letter. But it is. I know from dealing with these things that people often tell you it's very difficult. And Maxine will probably confirm this that when a prime minister or president invites you to do something on behalf of the country to serve the nation, it's often very difficult to say no.
Yeah.
So I believe that Professor Newton went ahead with all good intentions to do the best she can. But then other events overtook her and she could do no best. But so I saw, like I said, I think I didn't know her because let me say this: we served in the Senate together. She was on the independent center side. I was on the government side. We had a good relationship. As a matter of fact, because of her outstanding background as a very productive public servant, academic, serving in various a legal draftsman person, a lawyer, a librarian, an author. She wrote a book called The Silver Man, which is a story, an account of the Barbadians who went and contributed to the building of the Panama Canal. A fascinating book. So she's no slow intellectually or very productivity. And so she's done well. And I invited her to, as Minister of State in the Prime Minister's office, he was responsible for the government printery. And it dawned on me that there were a number of documents, a number of events and documents in Barbados related to them that nobody really knew of. And we sat down and worked out a schedule of documents that we would have the government produced and sell at a cheap price to involve the public. Like things like the Moyne Commission on the 1937 rights. So, and they went very well. And so she did a tremendous job. So I've always had adoration for and appreciation for her. So therefore I thought we should go pay a tribute to her, thank her for opening a public's eyes. But if I may now come to my topic in particular. And really the reason why I chose that topic is that I, like other Barbadians, would have been shocked and horrified at the brutal, brazen, almost inhuman nature of the attack, that gunshot attack that was launched at a funeral home. And they said, because to me it represented in a very graphic way, the a drastic change in the nature of crime in Barbados. And this one in particular that is dominating, this brutal, brazen, callous, uncaring attack on people's and their lives and their property and whatnot. And now, because normally the conventions of Barbados or culture, one would normally have respect for a funeral home or funeral place, and therefore you go in reverence and respect and solidarity and empathy. So this is a giant eye opener, and what it taught me is that this is what I call an evidence of contra-culture. And if Dave could bring my definition of contra-culture, a contra-culture's whole values, beliefs, and behaviors that are radically different from and often in conflict with mainstream culture, and are prepared to demonstrate it in various ways. Let me repeat that. Contra, that's CRONTR, cultures, whole values, beliefs, behaviors that are radically different from and often in conflict with mainstream culture, and are prepared to demonstrate this difference in various ways. So that was a demonstration of behaviors which were up to alien to the Barbadian way of life, but to Barbadian culture. And cultures are always in a state of, this culture are not solid like concrete or marble. They're always changing, some noticeably not so noticeably, some fast parts, others, some parts fast and others, but they're always in a state of flux. They're influenced by other things. And a contra-culture, you often hear about a subculture. Subculture is a part of the mainstream culture that is different. Then you can get a counterculture, which is both the counterculture and the subculture still relate to the mainstream culture. But when you get a contra, CRONT, I mean against, this is one that has no regard for, no allegiance for. So it's a totally different ballgame. And I think we have to accept that. For example, the Rastafari community could be resolved as a counterculture because it offers things, they want to change, offer something different, but they're basically instead operating within the general framework of the Barbadian society. So so this contra-culture, and contra-cultures are evidence of drastic changes in the Barbadian society that are probably not fully realized. Because a contra-culture has to demonstrate its hostility against the military culture. And it does so by behaving in ways that would offend you or me, but today that is their natural way of life. And cultures are always born and mixing and born. They have, for one, now they call it acculturation, where you borrow, you lend, you appropriate. So they're always interchanging. But Barbados traditionally, culture has been, traditionally we have been heavily influenced by European culture of the past, like African, by North America, and in most recent times, the North American culture. And very often, some of the worst aspects of North American culture, the ghetto culture, the gangsterism, I think we are seeing that now manifested. Because if you watch movies or videos, you see gangs and the culture of this kind of brutality is often exhibited as part of how they impose what they call discipline. And they think that because they're so brutal, the only thing that they respect is force and brutality too. And that regard, I want to use the opportunity to also congratulate the police force for the report I saw on the news tonight, where the commissioner of police himself, and I want to thank them for that, were coming, not public relations officer or some junior, to the Barbadian public about the success they had in seizing weapons and also arresting person. He reported to the nation. That is something I would like to see on a regular basis. So bring the public so they know you're not only acting, but they'll be encouraged by the results, and they see that you're really getting results for your efforts, and that and also have to put a dent in the public perception that something is holding you back, something or someone or some forces have been preventing you from doing what you want to do. That is a very strong perception and belief in Barbadian society. So I want to congratulate them and compliment them, and we hope to see them stay on that stream, and we see more of it as we go along. But the counterculture, as part of the social change, because societies always change, like I say, the counterculture, so you can get a change. And there's also something called, let me further explain to you the counterculture. Alienation is when people feel disconnected from the main society. That's a popular, if you're alienated, you're not connected. But then there's one called anomy, which is represented in the country, where anomy, which has no regard, no collection, with no use of the mainstream culture, wants to set its own way of life. So I think this brutal shooting is a clear evidence of that, and it's something that we must pay attention to, because, and I feel that the police have to answer these kind of actions with the strength and the power that they have. They have to have all the resources and use them. Otherwise, the public will continue to cower in fear in their room. I have friends both male and female, who don't want to get home by 4:30. Not even when it's getting 4:35, they want to be home because they are so scared of what's happening. And because of the counterculture, where they do not have any respect for time, place, person, or event, they are likely to perform in the first days anywhere, anytime, and as you would have seen at a funeral, a viewing of a body, at a funeral. So that also is an eye opener for us, and I think we have to see it as part of the change. But we talk about going back to community. We talk about going back to the church and involving the church. But the church has been often castigated for failing the society and not living up to its duty. But the church is performing, to me, it's continuing duty as one of the pillars in social pillars in society, like education, the church, etc. But the thing is that society has changed. The role, there was a time when people were less, and this is not only to Barbados, common all over the world. As soon as people become more educated, they challenge beliefs that they subscribe to in religion because of the analysis that comes with advocate, for being open to other ideas and information. They challenge, they question, they want to know, they challenge orthodox beliefs. And in the past, the origins of and mankind has all over the world has some religion does a number of things, including trying to answer to the perennial question that exists in mankind: where did it come from? Why am I here? What do I have to do here? Where am I going? That is what sociology, I say, the thing that the questions that religion seeks to answer. All religions seek to answer that in various forms, but those are the core things. So it's a universal activity that religions seem to do. But with education and with the common information, where at the time mankind's origins and behavior used to be explained by superstition. The gods are angry. If they, rain be explained, there is a clouds and thunder, the gods are angry. That is supposed to explain the rain, etc. Then there's philosophy. Then there's art that sought to expose in. Then history, and now it is science. But with this new education of science and the challenge to custom belief and practice and outlook, if this religion it's not that religion is not powerful. The society in change, and therefore the society has been becoming more secular, where religion plays a less important and important role in people's everyday life because they have an influence in the information. You don't regard the priest now with the awe that existed in the 40s, 50s, maybe 60s, because most Barbarians are exposed now to at least tertiary education, up to university level or community college. So it's that different. So it's not that religion as an institution, as a function, a social function has failed. It is that people have less regard. People are open to other influence. People are challenging and want to see a different way of life and behaves or whatever. So to get people, so that the call for people to go back to Sunday school and church is not as easily done as people would think, because you have to restart. You have to find a way of reestablishing the importance and reverence and belief in religion into society again. And as I said, that apparently that unfortunately goes with the quote unquote development of the society, with the expansion of education and whatnot. And apart from that, there are certain changes that go on in the society. You hear people talking about rekindling the community life. Community is a more intimate, closely knit behavior that comes among people who have a lot in common. I grew up in Spooners and I grew up in the community because we all were at the same. We had the same way of life. We're going to the same school, so people respected, supported. The relationships were totally different. Where I live now for the last 40 years, I don't have a community because I come from a different background. Most people come, so you don't have the connections I want to create a community. You have an association, you might have a neighborhood relationship, but there's no community. And the sociologist tells that when you move from village to society, when you move from the intimacy of a village to the impersonal nature of a larger society, the whole dynamics and relationships are different, and the behaviors are different because people don't have those strong, traditional, long-term, where we all went to school together and knew and trusted and felt our families. So it's a different. So to recreate community as it used to be is not really going to happen in the way people would expect. We're going to have to find a different form of community in today's, the more modern context, but not with the way it used to be. So that nostalgia is not likely to be realized anytime soon. So I think then that we have to be prepared to accept those changes and see how best we can work to recreate a new situation, relationship among ourselves in a community as you know of it today. Because man is a social animal, and man has in man's DNA, he wants to be associated with others. He can't help it. No, a group of some kind, the next larger group in the neighborhood, in the family, but that is his drive. That is in his DNA. He can't help it. So we'll all have the determination to be associated with others because it's how we are, as they say. But so I have also, but at the same time, as we get to the crime, I've been critical of how it has been handled so far. But I would like to offer some very practical suggestions as to what I think can happen. What the government to reconstitute this effort, this anti-crime effort. What, for example, this again going with the new nature of crime, these motorcycles, as you call them, I don't know if they're scramblers or whatever. I forget what they call. I'm not sure what they call them. That the police had been seizing, which are used. There are now. If you watch the international trend, and you watch movies and documentaries, you see that these type of motorcycles are now regarded as much of a modern tool of trade as a weapon, as a gun. They're flexible, they're small, you can maneuver and get through small spaces, evade police, whatsoever. So they're very useful. And I think rather than fooling us, I think the government should ban them. Ban them. Take them off the street. Anybody seen on the street should be taken away. They should be forgiven to use on the streets. I think government also, in the same way, many years ago, camouflage material, the possession or use or display of was banned because you didn't want to get people to use them to bring up contempt or the defense force clothes by using it in nefarious activities. I think that hoodies should be banned. There's no reason why anybody has to wear. You'd always see in the same way masks are banned and embarrassed by law, except for medical purposes. Do the same thing to hoodies. There's no necessity for a hoodie in Barbados. There really isn't. It's fashion out of North America again. I think they should be banned. They should be banned from wearing, from displaying for sale, etc. I think that would make life in the same. And I think that you get more use out of that than even on tint, because they're more directly identified with the person, and they can make a difference to the tracking down and the arrest and prosecution of person. So I think that's the thing that we should do, and then I think we should also, I think in the same way that the government should remove VAT. People nowadays, every other person is talking about getting a camera, get a set of cameras around the house to at least give them some kind of idea. People who are approaching the house, or leave a record with anybody who might come loitering or trying to attempt getting out. I think the government should remove VAT on the sale of these household cameras, which people are buying. Make it easier and cheaper. The police can't be everywhere. Let them people help themselves, help the police by making it easier for them to buy these cameras or these systems. And I think that's a project that BART should be able to undertake and work in conjunction with some stores and make it so it makes it easier for people to get them installed and help protect themselves and take some of the pressure off the police, right? And I also think that I believe at number 6 I had regular crime updates by senior police officers, and tonight, like I said, the police did that on their own. I think at the same time, if you're going to ask the police to do it, I think Minister of Crime Prevention, Kurt Humphrey, who has been in the job, who has had the portfolio of crime prevention for 4 months, from the 25th of March, April, May, June, and has not really any substantial statement. He should also be mandated. He should rise to the demands of the occasion and take the public into his confidence and try to give them an idea what are. We're not asking him to do any operations. Let him just do policies out of which will come operations, so the public begin to See, there's not that things are not happening in a vacuum. The police are not doing things by themselves back there. They do things as part of an overall scheme and policy framework. In the same way that he speaks almost ad nauseum about the elderly, people empowerment, and the elderly and the child care and the amalgamation, the board they say, but come and put some effort into this one. This one is more challenging. Which one is more crucial to Barbados institution? There's nobody who in Barbados would be against dealing with those vulnerable groups. I think every Barbadian would be inclined to want to do the best for them. So that is a given. Now come and put some effort, display some effort as a minister into the crime prevention. When Minister Corey Lane was there, we used to hear from him. How comes you're not hearing from him? We keep hearing Minister Lane still talking about all the great things being planned for the child care board, etc. He owes it to the people. I think he should. I would like to suggest that he does a ministerial statement from the House where he can set out in clear terms, not at a press conference, set out in clear terms what are his views, what are his plans, what he can tell us, that all within the general realm of national security. But we would then have more confidence that will rebuild confidence and stability in the Barbadian society. And I think we. How much more time do I have? Maybe a couple more minutes.
3 more.
3 more, right? Okay. So I think he owes it to the country. The country should demand it. It should require it, right? If he's the leader, he has to lead from himself and ensure that he's supporting also publicly the work of the thing. I also, if I may have a quick, I basically finished. Let me use a minute to just make a comment on this whole question of symbols and flags and revision. It seems as though this government has a death wish, always stirring up the hornet's nest. That not necessary. There's people in Barbados are not concerned about symbols, and they want to revise. Talking about crime, cost of living, education, bad roads, those sort of things. So what would make them come up with this and call irritants and fretfulness about the Bible? It should leave these things alone, and when the time is right, it will evolve like other things in Barbadian society. So, but to undertake this now, this time, is just to rekindle all that confusion that has been existing about independence and republic. In fact, I think that for a government that give itself all the plaudits and accommodations to being the brightest and had all the answers, I still try to figure out how you can have 2021, 4 years after become a republic, we still don't have a republic constitution. How can you therefore have? Can you have a report on parliamentary reform before we get a republic country? Because those institutions, those functions, those agencies should all be compatible and consistent with the Constitution. Yes. Otherwise, you mean you pass this act and then have to go and revise it again, because when you have the Constitution, you see there's conflict and whatnot. So I think they have to go back to the drawing table and bring us back and bring the society and deal with the priorities of society and not. I really think the table of that. That has been that report has been wrong since June last year. I have a copy of it, and to do it now, I think it was a deflection and a distraction.
Yeah,
From
I totally
the crime
agree.
situation. Totally
agree.